In the beginning, there was dancing. Then came fine typography, and the two got together and you had Dancing with Type. In this presentation, I'm going to demonstrate how to make a selection around the contours of this dancer, then turn that selection into a path, a high-quality path, then place text on a path, and finally show you some typographic wonders as I control that text around this path. Let's get started. Let's throw away this layer and begin here from the beginning. And it of course all starts over here in the tool palette with the magic wand tool. As you cast your eyes up here to the options bar, you will notice that my tolerance is set to 9. I have it set to 9 because I'm searching for a limited number of gray shades within the background region of this image. I have this set to anti-aliasing and to contiguous. I do not want it jumping over the borders and into the region of my dancer. I want a nice distinct edge. Contiguous is the correct answer. I now move into my image area, but I'm not going to click on the solid white area. I'm going to click on a grayer value. Thus, I can get a better selection in my first click, just like that. Then, with my Shift key down to add to the selection, I continue clicking around here in this gray area near the base until I have all of the gray values selected and I have a nice contour edge around my dancer. Just like that. Now, let's edit this a little bit in a very sophisticated way. I'm going to select the Q key from the keyboard to shift over to my quick mask mode. Now we all know Mr. Brown could have gone over here to the tool palette and selected here to edit in standard mode or to edit here in the quick mask mode. Now the quick mask mode, this amber layer, is something you can edit with painting tools instead of selection tools. This is great. For I now want to go in and edit this selection mask in this quick mask mode. Right? I'm going to move over here and select my zoom tool. Then clicking and dragging over the area I would like to analyze in more detail, we zoom in on that area. I'd like to adjust the contours here around the edge of her hair so it is smoother. I do not want these bumps and dips as part of my text path. So I can quickly and easily edit this quick mask with tools found here in the tool palette. In this case, I'm selecting the eraser tool. I'd like to erase to the current background color, which is white. And by clicking and painting over this, notice that I'm removing the ambered area or the selected region. I can continue down here and clean up areas like this area so I have a more defined edge around the shape of her head and then up her arm like this. So a lot of control in this selection. Now get ready. I'm about to do a super user tip and technique that gives me greater quality, smoother paths. And here it is. While we are still in this quick mask mode, it's behaving like an image, so we can run filters on the quick mask. Here from the filter menu, we're going to go down to blur and over to Gaussian blur. Let's move this up so we can watch this edge change as I adjust the radius. Now, just so you know, the value that Mr. Brown ends up using is based upon the resolution of his image. So what I want you to achieve is something that is not that soft and not that hard of an edge. Just a little bit of soft edge as I move this over. In this case, I'm getting a pretty good quality edge at 1.6. I'm just softening that edge a bit. Then I'm going to click OK. It just breaks the edge up so that it is not hard-edged and more of a smooth contour around my form. Excellent. Let's double-click on our hand tool to reveal our entire image as you see here. Now it's time to switch back to our standard view. Moving down here in my tool palette to this icon, Edit in Standard Mode, or the Q key from the keyboard, I'm back in the standard mode. Now something's odd here. We currently have the selection of the background and we want a selection of the dancer. From the Select menu, I'm going to go down here to Inverse, and I now have the dancer selected. We're ready to move forward. In fact, we're ready to go over and create a path. We're going over here to the Paths palette by selecting this tab to bring it forward. Then moving over here to the flyout arrow, clicking to reveal Make Work Path. As you can see, the default is 2.0 for the tolerance. I happen to know, through years of experience, that I want to create a more accurate edge around the contours of this dancer. So I'm going to adjust this to a 1.0 to increase the accuracy. It's going to give me more Bezier control points, but with greater accuracy, for example, around the contours of her face. I'm now going to click OK. I now have a path. It's called a work path. It's a good idea to double click on this path name and give it a real name. In this case, Dancer. And click OK. Just like that. We're ready to proceed. Let's go back to our Layers palette here by selecting the tab. Then let's turn on our text layer here. I just happen to have some text here that I'm going to select with my text tool, place my cursor inside the text. Let's do a Select All, and let's do an Edit Copy. Then let's dismiss this, and let's target our dance layer again. We now have the text we need in our clipboard to paste onto this path. We move gently, quickly, evenly over toward the edge of this path. We notice that the icon changes for the text tool, indicating that if we click, we're going to add text to the path. We click once. A cursor appears, a flashing cursor. We go to the Edit menu and paste, and our text appears. We continue to paste multiple copies around the edge with, of course, the keyboard shortcuts. In this case, on a Macintosh, Command-V, or on a PC, Control-V. And I'm going to add more text than I actually need because I want the ability to adjust the size of this up and down and still have enough text to wrap all the way around the contour of this dancer. So here I go. Command-V on the Macintosh or Control-V on the PC. So there, I've added multiple copies of that batch of text onto this image. Now, of course, I could have typed the text in directly, but I find it easy sometimes to cut and paste and create multiple copies with the Command-V or Control-V. Now you know. Let's proceed forward. The next thing I want to do is to select this text so I can control it. With the text tool still selected, moving into position, I click once near the edge of the text here. I see the flashing cursor. Then from the Select menu, select all the text. Now, this is putting in this black reversed out area indicating that the text is selected. I prefer to hide this selection while I'm editing the text. This is a great feature. From the View menu, go down to Extras, select it as you see here, and let go. The text is still selected. It's just hidden. Now we can go in and edit this. Let's now bring up our text palette. Clicking here in the options bar to toggle the character and paragraph palettes on. Now moving into my character palette, clicking here on this icon to set the font size, it quickly and magically selects the text, as you see here, 9 point, And if I use the quick keyboard shortcut of the up arrow or down arrow, I can thus change the size of this text. Let's first try changing the size up. Some very interesting typographic effects. But I'm now going to use the down arrow and go all the way down, in this case, to 7-point type. Very nice. Now, a little bit of finessing of this text. My super user tip and technique is to select here on the tracking controls. Remember, we have the entire body of text selected. By selecting the tracking, we can then expand the amount of space between these letters or decrease this amount. With the up arrow key again, I can increase it, or the down arrow, I can reduce it. The text starts to compact onto itself, and you can see the wrap changes. I continue to do this till I get a configuration I like. I like this. Notice how this letter D in dancing is appearing right there on the tip of her toe. That looks great. And I can merely do that by adjusting the tracking accurately to get the density of text and position that I'm looking for. Now that that's complete, let's move up here to the options bar and click on this check mark to commit my current edits. Just like that. We're now ready to move forward. Let's close this text box here. And let's move over here to the Layers palette and take a look at what our text looks like without the dancer in position. Quite interesting. But I notice the silhouette is not as clear as it could be if the descenders in the text were not visible. Let's think. How could I get rid of those but only hide them? Why, I've got it. I can go over here to my Paths palette. Remember our path we created earlier. We move our cursor over our dancer path. We then hold down the Command key on the Macintosh or the Control key on the PC and the icon changes. And then when you click on the path, it converts the path to a selection, as you can see here on the screen. Back to our Layers palette. Now, with Dancing with Type, our current path text selected still. Moving down here to the base of my Layers palette, I'm going to add a layer mask. Now, I happen to know that I need the inverse of the mask. So I'm going to hold down the Option key on the Macintosh or the Alt key on the PC. Then click on Add Layer Mask. Watch what happens. We've now hidden the descenders traveling into the region of our dancer. Let's turn off the visibility of our dancer again. Quite nice. So we've created a nice clean edge with our text in position. Is this text still editable? Of course it is. You can type into it, you can move it, you can adjust it. We're merely hiding it with a layer mask. Unbelievable, but true. You have just seen some incredible ways to work with text on a path. We made a selection, we turned the selection into a quick mask. The quick mask was edited. We then took the results from that edited quick mask, turned it into a path, and applied our text to it with accuracy and control. Give these techniques a try the next time you are dancing with type.